Yo guys, it's Havoc and I'm back again with a new video. Before I start, I just want to say thank you all for hitting 100 likes on my last video and let's aim to do it again for this video. Also, stay tuned because I've got plenty of new content coming soon. Anyways, now that that's all been cleared up, let's get into the video. So as some of you know, there was an event in the SHSO Forever server on April the 11th in which the creators of the original game, also known as the Amazing Society, spoke about the game, answered questions and shared unreleased content and information. If you missed it, don't panic because it was all recorded and uploaded to YouTube by a guy called ZanMCC, so big thank you to him and I'll leave the link down below. The full video is close to 3 hours long, so if you'd rather see a short preview of some of the stuff they shared before watching the whole thing, you're in the right place. I've got some interesting information and content coming up, so without further ado, let's dive right into it. As you can see on the screen now, I've got some concept art which they shared with us of unreleased characters. In case you can't tell, the character on the screen is Black Panther Shuri. Next, we've got a version of the Mandarin, which is one of my favourites. The next one is interesting, it's Professor X, and as some of you may remember, he was featured in the game, some kind of mission dialogue but was never playable. The next character is called Shadowcaster, and you wouldn't have heard of him unless you were in the event. He was one of a few characters that was created by the devs at the Amazing Society and later added into Marvel's database. There were also a few others, but unfortunately none of them ever made it into the game. The next character is Shang-Chi, who I believe is getting his own film soon, so it's good to see him here. Next up, we've got a variant of Thor, which looks pretty sick. It's a shame it never made the cut. Now this one you may recognise due to the fact that he was featured on some poster or promo for the game. It's Whiplash. The devs said that in the end, they just decided not to put him in, but I'm not sure why. That's the last of the characters, but they did share quite a few more, so if you want to see them all, you can go watch the full interview. Moving on, we've got some concept art for some areas and zones which could have potentially been added to the game. First, we've got the Sanctum Sanctorum, which is the home of Doctor Strange. Interestingly enough, this was actually included in the Halloween update that came around once a year, and there was even an interior that you could go inside. Next, we've got some concept art for Atlantis, which is an underwater city for those who don't know. I think it would have been interesting to see how this would have worked in the game. I think it was an interesting idea. The next area we've got is Planet Hulk Arena, which is featured in Thor Ragnarok. This seems like it might have just been a map for a mission, but I'm not sure. The next one is probably my favourite, it's Wakanda. This one looks like it could have been a really interesting zone, and I think it's a shame it was never included in the game. As you can probably tell, these next two pictures are both of the SHIELD helicarrier. I think that they wanted to include it, and I think the release of Avengers Assemble in 2012 would have been the perfect opportunity for them to do so, but unfortunately we never got to see it. That's all for the characters and locations, but I'm also going to share a couple of artworks they did just for fun. They made a few album covers as well as versions of comic covers and other stuff. If you like everything you've seen so far, just remember there's plenty more where that came from, so you can go watch the full interview. I'm not done yet though, I've got a very interesting video coming up, so sit back, relax and enjoy it.
What I'm looking at.
Oh my god.
Was this when Disney bought, was this after the Disney acquisition and we
That is correct. This is after Disney bought Marvel. And what we thought we would show them is how quickly and easily the team could do something fun for Disney characters.
God, I've forgotten about this.
So you guys here are definitely seeing the world premiere of an unreleased character in Superhero Squad. So thought that'd be a little fun sneak peek for you.
You can see in the background of this, the old Oscorp. I think somebody in the channel had asked about the old Daily Bugle
Oh, yeah.
level. You're getting to see a little bit of it here, of the way it used to work. And that one of the things about Oscorp was that green area was this cool interactive goo. And you could walk through it and it would leave little like trails. It was actually kind of neat.
You really get to see that tilt shift effect though, with this, the way it was too.
Yeah, you can really see it here. The other thing that this particular level had back in this version was the buildings would go transparent when at certain angles, just so that it could not occlude your gameplay. And then underneath them, they had things like little hidden like Easter eggs, like a dinosaur skeleton and UFOs and weird funny things.
That is one thing I'm missing from the fan recreation here that you guys have done is when you go through the building occlusion, seeing those little Easter eggs, because we actually got a lot of people compliment us on that one. Yeah.
So why did this version of the Bugle Zone get DAX?
What was that?
I think it was performance. He was asking why this didn't move forward, like why we changed it. I think that we needed to make a more performant version. I think this one was taxing with just the sheer number.
Yeah, especially once people were in it. We had too many buildings essentially and so many things to do that it just bogged down.
We could probably do it now with just how things get more powerful. It'd probably be no problem now.
It's a pity you didn't carve that up into 2 different zones.
Yeah, that absolutely right, to save some of those assets.
Yeah, like could have had it like be like an industrial area of like the Daily Bugle instead of like a more residential. Yeah, I think.
As you can see, the video shows Buzz Lightyear flying around the original Daily Bugle zone, which was scrapped before the game released. You can also hear them talking about how the zone was scrapped due to bugs and issues and was turned into the smaller version of Daily Bugle, which we all know today. In my opinion, this is definitely one of the most interesting things they spoke about, because before this, we didn't know anything about the original scrapped zone. Other than this, there were a couple other topics I'd like to highlight. Firstly, they spoke about how they originally had a lot of other ideas for MMOs, including an idea for a Harry Potter MMO and also a Smurfs MMO, before they were contacted by Marvel. They speak about this in further detail in the interview, so go watch it if you want to hear more. Secondly, they spoke about how they used to bring kids into the studio to test the game out and even showed us some interesting videos. Just thought I'd mention both these topics because they were 2 of the most interesting things they spoke about, but trust me, there's tons more and the full interview is definitely worth a watch. Anyway guys, I think that wraps up the video. Let's try and hit 100 likes and keep pushing for 800 subscribers. Also, don't forget to go watch the whole interview. Anyway, thank you for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.